The AKU-12, another brand new weapon available to the huge arsenal in Battlefield 4. Now today we're going to take a closer look at this weapon as suggested by you guys. So once again, any other weapons that you think we should take a look at, don't forget to suggest them below. So the AKU-12, like its cousin the AK-12 available to the assault class, this is a brand new variable to the weapons we saw in Battlefield 3. The AKU-12 is a successor to the AKS-74U. Now just like the AK-12, this new version benefits from a lot of new features compared to the weapons in Battlefield 3. Lightweight construction, folding stock and integrated rail systems. Now as a carbine, this weapon is available for all classes in the game and can be unlocked by gaining 19,000 points with the carbine score. So first impressions of this weapon. Well, before I got my hands on it, I was really hoping it might be the standout weapon of its class, just like the AK-12 is for the assault class, a really popular and effective weapon. But I must admit, once I got my hands on it and started working with it, it really wasn't the case. Now interestingly, in comparison to its assault rifle variant, the AK-12, it actually has a faster rate of fire. This weapon racks in at 680 rounds per minute, while the AK-12 only knocks up 650. But even that rate of fire isn't enough to save it in comparison to its other carbine counterparts. So let's go ahead and take a look at this weapon's facts and figures in comparison to three of the other most popular carbines, the ACWR, the SG553 and the ACE-52. Now as I said, the AKU-12 racks in at 680 rounds per minute, 200 rounds per minute slower than the ACWR at 880. Now the SG553 racks in at 830, followed by the ACE-52, which is the slowest at 650 rounds per minute. Now whilst the ACE-52 has the slowest rate of fire, it also has a massive increase in damage compared to all the other weapons. Whilst all the rest have a maximum damage of 25, the ACE-52 racks in at 34, so it makes up for that slow rate of fire with a high damage count. Now the same can't be said for the AKU-12. With only a rate of fire of 680, only 30 rounds per minute faster than the ACE-52, it still only does a 25% damage. Now to make matters worse, it does have an entire 3-second reload time, when in comparison to the ACWR at only 2.3 and the SG553 at 2.6, this does seem like quite a long time. Once again, it is a little bit faster, but only just than the ACE-52 at 3.1 seconds. So it really does feel like the AKU-12 is on the back foot. It's got no real advantage over any other of the most popular carbines. And it's very hard to give this weapon a category. For example, if I was going into a close quarters battle on Operation Locker, I'd almost certainly take the ACWR or the SG553 over the AKU-12. That higher rate of fire and almost identical damage model definitely give those weapons an advantage at close range. And if I was playing larger maps like Zavod 311 with those longer range engagements, I'd probably take a weapon like the ACE-52. That slower rate of fire and higher damage model definitely makes it a more preferable weapon for taking out targets at a further distance. So as you can see, for all these different situations, there always seems to be a carbine weapon more preferable for it than the AKU-12. But with all these facts and figures said, is this weapon a bad piece of kit? I can honestly safely say no. Whilst it's not the best carbine weapon out there, whilst it's not the best weapon for certain situations, there is really something about this weapon that draws me to it. So if like me you do actually like this weapon, which type of attachments should you take into battle? Well, so far I've been trying out the Cobra RDS sight. Now there's something about this sight that I really like. Maybe it's just a familiarity from Battlefield 3. Technically, it probably has no advantage over any other red dot sight in the game, but I find myself being very confident with this sight. I can get on my targets very easily. Maybe it is just the familiarity from Battlefield 3, but so far, that's the sight I really find works best with this weapon. Now, of course, being a small carbine, it's a very run and gun style weapon, and the accessory for any run and gun weapon is, of course, the laser sight. This increases your hip fire accuracy, so in those close range, very quick engagements where you don't have time to aim down sight, the laser sight can really help you out. Now again, for this run and gun situation, the Ergo Grip is actually described as being the perfect run and gun piece of kit. So overall, whilst this weapon might not be the powerhouse you were expecting it to be, there are better weapons for different situations. As I said, if you're going close range, I really recommend the SG553 over this, or if you're going into a longer range match, definitely take the ACE-52. But that said, this isn't a bad weapon. It has some real good advantages. You do find yourself winning quite a lot of close range engagements if you're firing from the hip, so it's not a bad piece of kit to use. Don't write it off entirely, but don't expect it to be the perfect weapon for the carbine class. But now I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. What are your thoughts and experiences with the AKU-12? Maybe it's your favourite carbine. If not, I'd love to hear which carbine has a top spot for you guys right now and why. And once again, if you did enjoy this video, please hit me up with a like and tell me which gun you'd like to see reviewed in the next weapon review. But in the meantime, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.